Hi, I'm State Senator Joe Markley. At my seat here in the Senate chamber, I've never taped one of these from this position before, but I figure I ought to enjoy the seat while I've still got it. I'm coming up to the tail end of my 8 years back in the state Senate, which has been very interesting, very pleasant in many ways, and I may say a great, great honor. Obviously, I was a candidate for lieutenant governor. I was disappointed in that result, not so much personally, but very much for the state of Connecticut, because I feel like we need to go in a different direction, and I'm afraid that with another Democratic governor, that's not going to happen. And it was an election, to my surprise, in which we lost some very good people in the legislature, some of my colleagues right here in this circle, who I respect and who I think have been important to the potential success of the state of Connecticut. What I'm happy to say is the success we had in my hometown in Southington, and especially the fact that my dear friend, State Representative Rob Sampson, will succeed me in this seat in the 16th District in the State Senate. So come January, he'll be sitting right here where I am today. And he and the new legislature are going to face some enormous problems. You know, we have huge deficits. They look a little better because of some recent revenue projections, but it's still going to be a very big challenge, and I'm afraid that with a Democratic governor and a Democratic legislature, the solution will include, among other things, substantial increases in taxes. It appears it's also going to include tolls. If you saw the proposals that just come out in the last few days, we are getting the tolling system that I was warning people about, which means gantries to read your license throughout the state on every limited access highway, and tolls that already are projected as being higher than the national average, and in fact during peak commuting times would be substantially higher. I think it's going to be an expensive proposition, and it's going to be a revenue source that will be all too easy to increase to get more revenue out of it. We're also going to see new regulations on businesses that the Democrats have been looking for a long time. I think legalization of recreational marijuana. The center of gravity in the Democratic Party has been shifting steadily to the left, and there are very few people left up here in the Democratic Party that I think could even be called moderates. One is my friend Joan Hartley, who represents the other part of Waterbury, who sits directly beside me. But her allies in this caucus are really gone, and they're kind of a vanishing breed. I know there are good, sensible people who are still members of the Democratic Party, but I think they have to realize that the people that are getting elected to Hartford are not really representative of them, and they come into a caucus dominated by urban legislators who really have what's, to my mind, a radical agenda, and it's very hard to resist that agenda. And I think it's going to be impossible for Ned Lamont, who's a liberal himself, I think a decent man. I don't think a man who's going to be able to stand up to the pressure that he's going to get from the legislative caucuses to fulfill the promises they've made to their most radical members. I hope I'm going to be able to continue to be active in politics, to be able to spread the message that I believe in, the principles of limited government that recognizes its constitutional curbs, and that also recognizes practically what it can and cannot do. Government that respects us as free and independent citizens, respects our rights, our opportunities, and our responsibilities. And a government that brings economic opportunity back to the state of Connecticut by reducing taxes, reducing regulations, and stabilizing our situation. I think that the Republican Party can win and will win if we are forthright about that agenda. I think if we try to chase our voters to the left, we're going to end up becoming irrelevant. I think if we can convert new people to our cause, we can still take power in the state, and we can still save the state of Connecticut, which is our goal. We all want the same thing, Republicans, Democrats, left and right. Whoever we are, I think we want what is best for the people of Connecticut. But those of us who believe in the American principles that made the nation great, I think have to continue to stand up for them. and do it with pride, do it without malice, but do it with conviction and do it actively. I'll do my best to continue to do that outside of this chamber. Again, it's been a tremendous honor to represent you and to stand up for all the people in the state of Connecticut. I will try to be back with you with another message before this term expires in January. But I've appreciated your many kind wishes, the many compliments I've had on these videos, which are very gratifying, and your support and your faith for all these years. So, have a happy Thanksgiving. This is Joe Markley, State Senator for the 16th District. Thank you very much.